Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron Reid and the husband unit, Mark.
Husband unit here.
We had a difficult week last week, so we decided to come together.
Yes.
That was
I'm a little moral support today.
moral support. I don't need the moral support. I thought you needed it, honey.
Oh, me too. I need support.
Yes, anyway, it's going to be fun. We're going to do the Celtic cross reading, and we are going to use the enchanted map, and you're going to comment as we go.
Yes.
If you want to ask me questions, you can go
Yes,
ahead.
I will.
This is a lesson as well, so we're going to learn about oracle cards. How intuitive are you at reading oracle cards? Is that what we're doing?
We do have a quiz. Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
but
we have a quiz.
I'm going to test you on the reading.
Okay. We have a quiz. How intuitive are you at reading oracle cards? There's a link to it somewhere here.
Yeah.
And Colette's going to test my intuition.
Yeah,
oh,
maybe.
Boy.
I don't know. Maybe at the
boy.
end. Okay, here we go. Now, remember, this is a weather report, if you will, for the collective. Tomorrow, the Astro Oracle reading is more intimate, and you get a lot more information about you personally. But this is kind of the general gist of what we're all going to be experiencing this week, and then an opportunity to do something with that energy, right? So it's predictive and prescriptive. Got it? Got it.
I got it, ma'am.
Coming to life in the protection position is the first card. So do we really want what we've built or what we are building? I'm actually going to take the guidebook to read this because it's impacting all of us, and we've had this a couple of times last week. It's a gentle reminder to get out of your own way and let spirit lead. New life is unstable in the beginning and needs gentle care. Farmers don't go into their fields and pull up the shoots of plants to see how they're doing. They know that everything has its own cycle of growth. Let nature take its course. Find other things to focus on right now. Simplicity and small steps are the order of the day. When the time is right, you will see the miracle. Now, this also reminds me as well is that, if we've planted weeds, we need to go weed the garden, right? It also reminds us of that, like, what is it that we've planted? What are the structures in our lives that are there? And also, are we giving it enough time? So oftentimes we want to change something so quickly and it doesn't happen in our timetable. So this is about surrendering the timetable to your higher power. That's for all of us this week, right?
But I also know one thing about this card. When you look at it right side up, you always state that you got the dreams coming to life right here, but it's not quite. It's
We're not
coming
there
out
yet.
of the rocks. So
Good, you're
so
paying
I think-
attention,
yes,
Mark.
I am.
Okay, what is crossing us? That's enough.
Okay.
What's cross? Oh, here we go. Goblins are crossing
Am I just
us.
going to be like the little dog that sits on your lap? Don't say a thing. Just sit there.
Let me do. Okay.
Yes,
Just not
yeah.
every card. Okay.
Okay.
So here's what crosses us as goblins. Now this card tells us the nature of the obstacle or how to get around the obstacle. So the goblins card represents all the quality of our shadow self, where we are in resistance and we're not accepting reality, and we're fighting, but not necessarily for the right reasons. Sometimes too, it's when our aggression. Or when our anger becomes aggression that's unbridled, or ambition becomes unbridled. It's when things get out of control. Okay, so that's what crosses us right now, and we're not there yet. So it is really a warning not to let your emotions get the better of you this week as well. And we're going to find out the rest of the story. I'm going to actually take all the cards and then we'll tell this story. That's what I did last week too, because it was a little more helpful. So this is our foundation, which is great. This is what we already know. This is what's the highest we can expect. Okay, this is great. So this looks
It does look better.
it doesn't,
already
thank
this
goodness, right? Last week, all the cards around you, remember that? It was like, oh, and he said to me after the reading, like, oh boy, we're in for something this week. I wonder what it is. So listen, life happens. Life is tumultuous at best at the moment, right? And we are going through a great transformation. It doesn't come with, oh, that's fun and nice. No, there's stuff going on. This and that is true, both and, right? So we have to remember we can be in the eye of the storm without bypassing the storm. but we also don't want to identify too much with the storm. We can't make it go any faster. So this is when we get really, uptight. This is when I get pissed off that I can't get my nails done. I mean, first world problems for the pandemic, but we've been in serious lockdown forever. We have like stay-at-home lockdown. So, it's like, it can be really, it can be taxing on our nerves. And the Goblins card represents, we can't take it anymore, basically, is what this is saying. And so it's really, this what happens? Well, all kinds of rebellious things happen. Now, at the foundation is our higher power, right? So we have to remember this. Our foundation is stable when our higher power, call it whatever you want, the universe, God, goddess, I don't care, right? It's when we know that we have a conscious contact to a power greater than ourselves, we're actually good. Did you want to add to that?
No.
Card? No? Okay, good.
I was looking for another term for God, spirit.
Yeah, right? Spirit, what else?
Whatever. Me.
Next. Okay.
No, that would be
Thank
cute.
you for sharing. I think you might get fired from this job at some
boy.
point. But helper.
quiet.
Okay, yes. No, it's true. Like there's some people really relate to a higher power that doesn't have anything to do with their religion. I don't have a problem with the word God at all, right? So that's just not my thing. But we want everybody to feel included. So use universe, anything that's universal, great spirit, divine matrix, whatever. It has to be our primary relationship, which I've been saying for the past few weeks. And then that helps alleviate what crosses us. This will really help with that. Remembering what is my primary relationship? Who's large and in charge? Not me. So not I, exactly. Now, what have we already learned? We've learned something important, and we may not have just learned it, but we've learned it. We know this. We've integrated this lesson, which is wide open, which is infinite possibilities. If we don't know what gets invented, for example, we have no idea what these new things that come out of basically nowhere, how they can help us, because we don't see it. It's not in front of our day-to-day lives, but we have to trust that things are happening where we cannot see them for our benefit. So this is also part of this lesson, is like this closes us, this shuts us off. Our need to go faster, bigger, get it over with now, we're done, that kind of thing. We've got to be patient. And the Wizard of Awareness is the patience card. So that's the highest we can attain right now in order for us to move through this before we blow ourselves up, basically, with our anger or whatever it is. And again, I'm not against negative feelings. You have to have that. If you don't have healthy anger, there's something wrong. And I'm talking about when things get out of control.
This is a good week.
He's like so happy. So now unexpected visitors and the protection position is what's coming up around the corner, which means like we really are in uncharted territory. We are. We can't pretend to know what is happening. And the minute we do that, we make poor choices. We make risky choices that are better left for another time. So this reminds us, and similarly, we had a similar card last week at the Celtic Cross reading as well, too, where, the idea of taking the risk or whatever, it's like, well, do I, don't I, what if I step in muck? Well, you're likely going to. If you do something too risky, you will. So this is warning us, it's one step at a time, not 10 steps and then 500 steps and then we fall on our faces, right? It's like it's really asking us to slow down. It really is. And when unexpected visitors are in the protection position too, they may not always be pleasant. However, because that card is across from this one, I will say to you that this could actually help us with the thing that is negative, right? So that the real challenge gets helped when this card is upside down, right? When it's saying, oh no, all that stuff that we have no control over, something is going to come that we don't expect that's actually going to help us out of the jam, right? So we can look forward to that. Now let's look at the 4 things. Do you want to pick the 4 cards and
Yes. Now,
I'm going to let you pick them.
yes, and I'm allowed to, for anybody out there who's thinking, he's messing up the reading.
No.
It doesn't work that way.
No, it's fine. I'm going to take your cards. And these next 4 cards are the events that we're going to see transpire this week. That's Magical Map Shifter and Protection. Actually, you are the one who always Bone Collector and Protection.
Yeah. Oh boy,
Hell, the Ouch
what
in Protection.
happened?
We got a lot of protection cards. Last week we had all 4 in Protection.
No, it's a little
No,
good
okay,
news
good.
there.
So just because they're in protection doesn't mean they're bad cards. Okay? That does not mean that at all. But it does say this. This is about healing the past, things that we have not healed yet in the past. And when the magical map shifter is beside the bone collector in the protection position, they really represent an opportunity to go back in time and make amends. That's the heal the ouch card. So that's when in protection. So you need to clean up. This is about cleaning house in the biggest way possible. Understanding that there are certain people in your life, because magical map shifter always represents a person, right? A person that you've projected on or that have projected onto you that has reminded you of something in your past that you haven't healed. And this is a beautiful opportunity this week to get quiet and go, okay, what in me needs to change? What in me needs more love, needs more compassion, so therefore I can then show it to others and not lose my temper, not lose my, all of that stuff. I'm gonna take a look at magical map shifter in the protection mode too. I'm gonna add some, because I like reading from the guidebook when I have so many upside down cards. It says it may bring you the opposite of what you seek, and perhaps you're in denial about your situation or refuse to see the truth. Or maybe you've been traveling down a path that has constantly led you to a field of poppies where you fall asleep and dream of desires that never find their form. To have the life you really want, you must match its vibrational energy and resonate with it. And that's what these other cards are about, finding out what in the past, what's from the past, and then making amends from the past. And healing the past is what this is. Sometimes our greatest hurts and disappointments are what awaken us to our need to shift to a higher frequency. That's so person. If your heart aches because someone is breaking it, this discomfort will lead you to a more authentic life. Do not linger in the pain or blame the magical map shifter for alerting you to the illusion that you clung to. Know that treasure lies elsewhere and can be recovered once you've healed the wound that is reflected in those who come to you as catalysts for growth. As you experience yourself transforming into the highest version of yourself, you'll come to understand that you're always fortunate when you meet up with the magical map shifter. So this is really about being completely and 100% accountable for whatever it is that needs healing this week. And to recognize that, again, the bone collector is about the past, right? It's what have you not dealt with in the past. So it's a revisiting, not a blaming time. It's about accountability, and it's also about releasing the form. That is the other thing. Like, don't have the expectations that this form is going to be exactly as you want it to be. Just release all your expectations. Know, you could say you don't know, and then see that there's an opportunity for healing. And the solitude card at the end of that is also a good time to take breaks this week. It's also an opportunity for, like for a bit of a timeout. So for those who can actually claim that for yourself. And the other one is that we will need a timeout. And the opportunity for a timeout will be presented to us as a result of this. Like, take a beat, put a pin in it before you act. Think before you act. Ask your heart, is this what love would do? Right? Is this what love would do? That's
interesting because like a lot of people may be watching this and they're kind of new to the cards, may think, oh, all these upside down cards, like it just seems like, but it's not really.
It's not negative.
It's not negative. It's asking you to look at these areas to bring the positive into the reading.
And it's also it's not even so much. It's bringing meaning. And radical acceptance. Like, this is also about radical acceptance. Like, you can't change anybody but yourself. You really cannot. You can't. You have to trust that you have to just do your work and do your work. Don't expect anybody to do it for you, which I probably said last week too. I think I did. And it's, again, this is you doing your work and finding meaning and depth and kindness, compassion, etc. Yeah. So I would say positive, but not the kind of, there's toxic positivity too, and people are like, oh, happy, joyous, and free, or love and light, and that's not.
I'll go meditate on top of a mountain.
Yeah,
eat rice and all that.
No.
Been there, done that.
Yes, he's actually gone and done that.
Yeah, you learn. Enlightenment is in the integration with what's going on around you.
Yeah.
So what I see here is there's a lot of things that are going to come our way. So we gotta trust.
Yep.
Our higher self, be open to all the possibilities
that we don't even know about yet.
That we don't know about. Wisdom. to,
Yeah.
what's that thing where,
Perspective, the awareness,
the
the
wisdom.
observer. That's when you get into the observer. That's
what's that
where
one line
wisdom-
that you always use, which is, know,
I don't know.
I know. You're the psychic. Get it out of here.
I can't, I don't know.
The wisdom to know the difference.
Oh, yes. That came from the Serenity Prayer. That's not,
Okay, the Serenity
yes.
Prayer.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that really does apply this week.
To this week. That's what it
The
looks like to
wisdom
me.
to know the difference.
So you're bringing in your higher power. You're going to have the wisdom because there's some things you just are going to be really unsure about, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something is going to happen, come a visitor.
Yeah, and well, the unexpected visitor and protection is asking for you to radically accept whatever the form is in front of you, and
Yeah.
that it may not be what you expected, and it may be actually something you don't get to have, so that it gives you something better.
And
It's
I like-
also part of that.
And the last
Time
one
out.
is, guys, take time out. Like all this week, a little time out every time you get
Yeah,
like
whenever you
triggered,
can,
whatever.
whenever you can, step back
meditation.
and don't take this world personally.
Yeah.
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 Thank
So-
you, Mark.
Well, it was better than last week, so I'm happy.
Well, last
And
week
I got
wasn't
great
that,
advice,
I didn't
like-
find last week that challenging. It's that there is the global issues are challenging and whatever. But
Yeah.
I took it to heart that it was a week for inventory last
Mm-hmm.
week. I did a lot of journaling and inventory, and and this is again, we really are being required to get accountable for the world that do we want
Mm-hmm.
the world in front of us as it is, or do we want to be part of the change? And then can we keep a sense of humor? Because I remember last week's reading, we had peaks of joy. And I'd like to remind myself this week, too, we have to keep a sense of humor as well, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Mark.
You're welcome, Colin.
And the quiz is...
quiz, yes.
Yes, the quiz. You did really good today.
Thank you.
Yep, very good.
You did good, Mark.
You did good, Mark.
Like you're a little doggy.
I don't treat you like the dogs. Although I love them.
Yes, you do.
I love them. I'd probably be good.
More than me.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
We're plumb. We need marriage
No, that's
counseling
not
now.
true.
because of
No. The trauma.
The trauma that no.
No. Those. I get treated as well as the dogs.
Which
so I'm
is
happy.
very well. That's right. Okay, so we have a quiz called "How Intuitive Are You at Reading Oracle Cards?" Is somewhere there's a link to click. Please click it, and be mindful this week. Right, be mindful this week. Radical acceptance must lead us forward, plus our higher power, and we're going to be just fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll see you next time.
Yeah. So Colette wants to say, if you like this video, share it with your friends, leave a comment below. But more than anything else, if you really like this, hit the subscribe button. A little bell comes up and you hit it. There'll be a notification that comes to your inbox every time that we put up a new video.
Okay,
Take a time out.
bye.
See ya.